people everywhere. Thank you for this commission, for their willingness to serve. Lord, they are your servants first of all. They're servants of the people, and I pray that you just stir a good conscience in all citizens to do our part in making our towns strong and healthy. And Lord, guide these men in their choices to decisions today so that they can work for the well-being of all people. Lord, grant them wisdom and knowledge when the need goes beyond their information. I pray that you grant them grace and humility. Lord, also guide them in every decision and give us all a will to work together, to expect the good in each other, to use our place in the community to benefit others. And Lord, guide this commission today in paths of integrity and wisdom and compassion to the honor of your name. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, Jeff. Well, I now show 9 o'clock. I'm going to open the meeting of the Kiowa County Commissioners. First thing on the agenda, we have to approve the consent agenda. And I didn't see anything wrong with the minutes.
I didn't either.
Anybody else?
I move we approve the consent agenda.
I'll second it.
Been moved and seconded. We approve the consent agenda. Is there any more discussion on this motion? If not, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Jay, we got down to you pretty quick.
Got some payroll change sheets. Jerry Aarons, Derry Liggett, Chad Erickson, and Charity Beal. Jerry, Derry, and Chad are full-time blade operators. Charity's just a part-time. But I feel like she's went from being a part-time mower to basically running the blade full-time almost, and running the loader, loading trucks, and running the excavator, digging caliche. So I just think it, don't know anybody else that would go to work for $11.67 doing that kind of stuff and not getting the benefits to boot. So.
Well, I'd move that we approve the payroll changes.
I'll second the motion.
Been moved and seconded
It's all supposed to be signed by you, John.
Yeah.
Chairman.
that we approve the payroll changes. Any other discussion on this motion? If not, those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign.
Let me look at him after you sign him, Ron. I won't look at him again.
And Jerry Aarons is maxed out in his classification, so he'll get a lump sum payout. We done some tree trimming up on B Street north of Greensburg last week. Might be some concern that I'm wasting taxpayers' dollars because the landowner that we were on is putting a new fence in. And for me, anybody who is going to be putting a new fence in and has a bunch of trees on there, if they'll let us come in there and go past our right of way to trim trees out so we don't have to deal with them in an ice storm or windstorm or whatever, so we're not spending time, cleaning the mess up, I'm more than willing to go in and,
Do it while it's easy to do.
yeah, remove as many of them as they'll let me remove. I mean, it just saves us. Oh, we did get the cattle guard cleaned out off of Belvedere Blacktop.
Appreciate that.
And cleaned the culvert out on 29th Avenue, south of town. Have a Beavers that seem to be causing some issues there once in a while. It's not all the time, but it's kind of an ongoing thing there. Had all the mowers going last week. Have a couple days here where we won't have, I'll be in the mowing the blacktops probably, but middle of the week I'll have all 4 of them going again.
You hire some temporary boat.
I think this is the second week for the ads, so I've only got, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 guys, I guess. I've gotten 2 applications, and then one of them's an older application that I'll just need to get a hold of him. And then does Jerry McLean, he's been gone long enough, does he need to probably fill out an application and come part-time?
Yeah,
Okay.
because he's been gone longer than 6 months.
Yeah, okay. All right. So hopefully here in a couple of weeks we'll have some more guys, keep them going full time, not have to pull guys off the blades and whatnot. We got 1 culvert to replace and 1 to put in that was scheduled several weeks ago, but we got the rain came in and just never got around to it. So hopefully, it sure looks like it's going to be hot and dry for a while, so we should be able to get them towards the end of the week. And then probably, if we don't get started on repairing some of the blacktop asphalt patchwork by the end of the week, we'll for sure be started on it next week. I haven't gotten a hold of Steve. I need to get a hold of Steve and kind of see what their plans are as to what they're going to be doing first and when. So.
You talking about asphalt breaking up, you seen this out here?
Yeah.
Man, that's really
Nice.
come apart, hasn't it?
Yeah. And there's not there's a couple spots we'll probably have to zip on Brenham, and I think I've seen 1 spot on south of Mullenville. There might be 1 or 2 on Belvedere, but most of it I think is kind of the old chip seal or scrub seals just kind of popping off the top. So I don't think it'll take a lot to get over everything this year. That's all I got. You guys got something for me?
I don't have anything. You guys think of anything?
Oh, I did. I watched the last commission meeting, and Rose is going to put the 1 vehicle on Purple Wave. Is that right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
We've still got that state truck and 2 pickups that we can.
Yeah, I told her to check with you,
Yeah,
because I thought you may have something to
yeah.
go.
And then we've got. I'm sure we can come up with some little stuff, some
Yeah.
old blades.
How do I know it all at one time?
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Jerry.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Did you have something you wanted?
Just to finish our discussion from the last meeting, yes.
I can't understand you.
I'm sorry, just to finish our discussion from the last meeting about opening up the courthouse.
Oh, okay. Shay, you have anything?
Just real quick before I boogie woogie, I wanted to address kind of moving down to this room. Even if we can make it work for the 6 feet or the mass for the commissioners, it's not really tenable for the audience, particularly once we open up. Because once we open up, everyone's free to come. And right now, we can only fit 4 people in the audience here. I guess 5, technically, with the person who's speaking to them. I think it probably would be, I guess, my pitch to you guys on this is, if we're asking businesses to comply with these deals, the county should comply with them too. And I don't really think there's any way we can comply with the audience portion of it the way it is, because as an open meeting, we can't, they're all free to come in, and right now we're effectively going to tell them that only 4 people can ever be in here. So I just wanted you guys to kind of think about that as addressing where we move forward with opening and various other things. But unfortunately, I have to get on the road, so you guys have a good one.
We can take one more and then somebody out there, they can take his place.
It'd be a really challenging discussion.
Yeah. Yep.
Yes, sir. Is it okay if I sit here since I did not bring my mask?
Yeah.
Is that okay? So yeah, that is part of the discussion is, as you can see, we are in a little bit more of a confined space. So if we were to be open to the public, that could create some more challenges to allowing others to step in. Some of our previous meetings where we have, Medicine River Rodeo coming in, we wouldn't be allowing, many of that group to be able to come in. So something to think about as we discuss opening up the courthouse is what arrangements do we need to make for the public to allow for the 6 feet distancing. So first we need to continue our discussion, I guess, on when we're going to open up the courthouse, because we kind of left that up for discussion as of the last meeting.
Did the doors get done?
The doors are done.
Okay.
Yes.
And the guards are up?
There is some, I really think Matt probably should be part of this conversation. I can tell you right now, mine isn't up. I don't know why, it doesn't fit or something. They are not up right now. So you probably need to have Matt part of this discussion.
Call him.
Would you like me to run down and see if
Yeah.
he's available?
Well, okay.
Oh, yeah, either way.
No, it's,
I'm so tired of being on the phone. I think my first
Okay.
instinct is to
Okay.
walk rather than talk on the phone.
If we were to open up, and if we had a larger crowd and needed to move back upstairs, at what point is the courtroom not gonna be available anyway?
That's something you'd never know. It'd probably
That's
be
true.
available when we open, but they probably need, they don't always
Well-
open at 8, I don't think, do they?
They have to rearrange things for us, and they have to get all of that out of there for court. I just soon keep it down here if we can do it.
Hey, Matt.
Greetings.
I was gonna ask you, have we had any more cases?
We are investigating. We're waiting on testing.
we asked you to come be part of the conversation, Matt, because we were looking at, or they're discussing on when to open up the courthouse, and I know the doors are installed, but I thought that there's issues with our sneeze guards,
As far as I'm
that
aware,
they
they're-
don't fit or something like that.
talking with Travis when they were installing the doors, I think they do.
Okay,
It's going to be tight, but they're supposed to be tight. So
okay,
he's out getting commodities right now, so I can't bring him in to
Okay.
check. But last I talked, when they were actually setting the doors, I think they'll actually work. Is my last understanding. And if so, we just have to maybe shave half an inch off, which shouldn't take too long. So they should be ready to go, I would assume, immediately.
Okay,
there you go.
So,
that's what we needed.
yep. So yeah, they're both ready to go.
They were also discussing the commissioners moving back down here, and Jake expressed his concerns on about the allowing the 6-foot distancing and all that, and limits of how many people we can have in the room. John just made a comment about the district court, how long can we use it, and is it causing an issue of having to tear down the stuff for them to do dip court and then putting it back up for us the next meeting, because we only have 3 meetings a month, so.
Yeah, I've talked to our staff about this. It's not bad to put up and tear down those tables. The only issue we could potentially have is, depending on when days fall, potentially you could have a meeting on the same day that court is scheduled.
Yeah.
Now, typically, it's not going to happen on your Monday meetings, but say if you have an end of the month meeting on a Tuesday, Wednesday when they have court, that could be a conflict we'd have to work around. But yeah, it takes us all of maybe 10 minutes to get those tables set up, and just doing it a few times a month is not a big burden. So we can continue doing that if you'd rather continue having your meetings up there. It's not a problem from maintenance's perspective.
I just wanted your input on that because they were talking about
Yeah.
that could be an inconvenience.
So the only thing you probably really need to do is just, we'd have to look at the calendar, and if you guys do have an end of the month meetings falling on a day they've got court, we'll have to work that out with court, make sure we're not in their way. But other than that, I think it's feasible to continue doing it if you guys want to.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you.
And you feel like we still should have 6-foot distancing out in the crowd?
Absolutely.
You guys got any comments, one way or the other?
Well, what if somebody was coming to meet, have it come in at a certain time?
I wish Che would have stayed. I think the concern is saying that we can't, yeah, that's just like Matt, you know, he's here, we had him come in. But if we had like several people that wanted to come be part of the conversation or listen what's going on at a normal regular meeting, they can't. That's Che's concern, is we are limiting on who can be at the meeting because of the 6-foot distancing. That's why this room doesn't really work with and comply with Carrie's recommendation of our plan.
Because even if they don't want to speak, maybe they just want to be a part of the meeting and listen in.
That's kind of like Jeff, you know, he comes and prays for us at the beginning and then he just listens to observe. There might be other people that might want to do that.
Well, now that we're online, I don't know that that's going to be as big a deal as it was. And I don't remember seeing this room filled up very often unless there was an agenda. Somebody had, if there was something going on. And if there's something going on like the rodeo club, like the Belvedere School, where we know there's going to be people here, we can schedule that to be in the courthouse that day or in the courtroom that day. And by and large, we don't have a room full down here. And now that we're online, it's probably even less likely that people are going to show up just to watch, because they can watch it online in their own home.
Well, that's the next item we discussed about, are you guys going to continue to video your meetings? Because when I asked on Friday, you guys wanted to continue that discussion, because if you guys don't want to continue the videoing, then we are going to definitely have to probably look at moving back upstairs or to the community building or somewhere else to comply with Carrie's recommendation.
And just as a reminder, it's not just for patrons, it is for you guys as well. Because up in district court, even the 4 of you are 6 feet apart from one another, whereas here you're not able to spread out as much. So it's just as much for everyone's safety as it is just the patrons.
How long do you think this distancing is gonna go on?
Through the end of the year.
I guess we better move back up to the stairs.
I appreciate that, Ron.
Okay, thank you, Ron.
I do. I
But I'll
really
give my
appreciate
2 cents in on the, putting it online. I do not like that. I will not vote for it.
that. Okay.
It's simply, it's not because of Grant, because I think he does an excellent job.
Okay.
But I think up there you can open it up and give people 6 foot.
Oh, yes, and that's why it was the best location for our commissioner meetings moving forward after we were gonna open back up.
I think
That is, I
that
mean,
would be a good compromise, is
Yes.
giving people the space and ability to come in and listen, and if it's not gonna be available online.
what are your guys' thoughts on
I don't
that?
have any
'Cause we probably
problem
need
with
to
that.
make a decision since we're opening up possibly pretty soon.
I don't know. I like the meeting room down here better,
Well,
but I can see why.
But to stay in compliance, we gotta get more space, so I'll go along with Ron.
Yeah, I would have to too.
To move them back upstairs, what
Yeah.
about recording the meetings moving forward after today?
Well, what I can move up there, people can come in if they want to, they got room to do it, they don't have to say, well, you're not recording it now.
Sure.
We can readdress maybe when we move back into this room permanently, starting recording and maybe online stuff, readdress it then.
Yeah.
Or if there's not enough room,
So we can get where we can stop being 6 foot apart. First of the year by that then, yeah.
And if something changes as far as the recommendations go on our end, I would certainly pass that along to you to where we could readdress it sooner. Just all of the information that I'm receiving is saying that we're gonna be doing this through the end of
I
the year.
would think so, yeah.
Would you guys like to put that, we'll probably need that in a motion that you guys are gonna move back upstairs, and I kinda got that you guys don't wanna record anymore, so that'll need to be included in the motion, so that way it's on the record.
Can I just put in a couple 2 cents real quick before that's decided? There were several comments when the discussion was going on last time on the stream about the appreciation for these meetings to be online, for the fact that it's not just that people can't come because of the 6-foot distancing, but people just can't physically come here for one reason or another, but can have this up, whether it's live or come back and watch it later. You know, Jay just talked about he was able to catch up on something that was happening in this meeting last time that he was able to address from the sake that it was recorded, and he was able to go back and watch it. And so it's not, I don't think it has to do with just the fact that we're 6-foot distancing and that's where the live stream comes into play. I think there's a benefit above and beyond that. And people are appreciating the fact that they're well aware of what's happening here because it's online and they don't have to physically come. Some people's job don't allow it. Some people traveling can't get here as easily on a Monday morning. So I think it has to do with more of that than even the 6-foot as far as thinking about taking it forward. Just 2 cents from people commenting on the stream last time
That's very true.
as that discussion was happening.
You know, I think there's truth in that, but we had people wanting us to have our meetings at night so they could show up. Guess what happened? Nobody showed up. They like it online because they can voice their opinion and not have to face us. I want them here to say what they think about us right here. Then we can address it. I don't like this going on there and stating their beliefs, and we don't have any way of saying anything back. I was saying the other day, of all this online stuff, the comments I've heard directed to me. Kirsty made them the first meeting after we started this, and she said I coughed too much, so I agree with that. The next one, and she said that Bert bumped his arm on the table and it showed up. And the next one, John was clearing his
Breathing too
throat.
hard.
And the last one, I was clicking my pen. Now you tell me the benefit to the commissioners in that.
Those are ticky-tacky things, and I agree.
Yeah.
And I don't think a lot of people, I haven't heard a lot of negative, the commissioners are annoying me during the meetings.
No.
I think the positives outweigh any of those ticky-tacky things as far as people being aware of what's going on in their local government. That's all I will voice, because this is my opinion, is I like the idea that people can understand what's going on in this room without having to be in this room because it's hard for them. The other things, people will get past that, and that's very minor if people are picking those things out as an issue with the live streaming. And I know that's probably kind of self-conscious for you guys as well, to know that everybody's watching. But I also think it's kind of one of those things, hopefully you just get used to, and hopefully you have kind of gotten used to it a little bit, to the fact where it's normal. And yeah, if the pen is clicking a little bit, the pen is clicking, but you know what? They're still hearing the information that's what's going on in this room, whether the pen is clicking or not. And I understand how it could be annoying for you guys to have to consciously think about, oh, what's going on in the stream. But again, I think that outweighs the benefits of people knowing what's going on in their local government. That's my concern.
There's been minutes taken for hundreds of years, and it's worked. And Christie takes what I think is good minutes. That's what is required in my books. And I'm not sure, Shay would have to check this out. Whenever we are being put over the internet, does that make our meeting open? I don't really believe it does.
Well, again, it may just be for, Shay would be the good authority on this, but my understanding is, at least in the extraordinary circumstances we found ourselves in the last couple of months, it does actually satisfy open meeting requirements.
I'm not sure. Who told you it did?
I I thought in our department head meeting that that's what he had said.
Yeah.
That it,
Who said Shay?
Shay.
Shay.
And city has received that same advice from our city attorney.
My understanding of an open meeting, there has to be interaction between the public and the commissioners. I haven't seen any of that with this kind.
Actually, I asked that same question in regards to city council meetings, and the only requirement is that the meeting be open for viewing. There is no requirement for live interaction. Again, it may be limited to the circumstances we found ourselves in, but at least for the last couple of months, that was the advice that the city received from the city attorney. Because we've been doing the same thing, we've been closed to the public except for, again, who's participating in city council meetings, and just streaming it via the media center with no live interaction between people watching at home and the meeting itself.
Another thing is, I would be in favor of the offices up here that elected officials run, that they be recorded every day. Is there a problem with that?
Recorded how?
Have a camera in there and a mic.
Oh, yeah?
Just in the office like 24/7 as they're working? Is that what you-
Well, they're not open out there 24/7.
Or like anytime they're in the office, if there's a camera pointed at them and there's a microphone in front of them, just monitoring them?
Yeah.
I'm not sure with HIPAA if
Well, there's some things that, like in my office, that, there's some things that, I can't discuss because of HIPAA, but, for my daily operations, if is this to view to see that we're doing, the operations that we're supposed to be doing, or is this something that you want us to put out live that we're working? I mean, I don't know where you're going with that, Ron.
What's the
Kinda
deal
like
for the
security?
commissioners? Yeah.
Well, the difference between the commissioners and my office is that I'm not a board that is in a quorum that are making county decisions. I'm just a bystander in an office that operates the county functions. So, I mean, Ron, if you want to put a camera in my office to watch what I'm doing, I have nothing to hide. I'm doing my job as well as my staff, and I can't speak for other offices. I don't have a problem with it if Matt wants to put a security camera in and watch it. I mean, that's what I would, if that's what my intent would be, is for you to, for security reasons, not to really make sure that we're, I honestly can't answer that, but,
I think it's a ridiculous thought myself.
okay.
Don't think it'll work. But that's the same thing as here. We're elected officials.
Yeah.
This country elects officials to make their decision for them, and we don't need somebody on the internet second guessing us. My way of thinking.
Okay.
You guys want to? Am I the only one that against this?
I can see both sides of it. I don't particularly like being recorded all the time either, but I can see the benefits in this day and age of people being able to view it. I don't particularly like it, but I don't know that it's a bad thing for
I'm
everybody
the
else.
same way as John about that. I mean,
if,
I'd go with it or without it.
if I could interject here, I'm not comfortable on any form in front of the camera at all. It makes me very, very nervous. But I have found that I have appreciated having the camera to refer back to because of recent events, it being somewhat confrontational. Having that ability to go back and say, just recently with the conversation that happened at the last meeting, I did not refer to the rodeo. I referred to a very large event. Having the ability to go back with that recording and say, I never said rodeo. That you can replay the event and listen to what I said. I was able to diffuse a situation very quickly by having that recorded. Not to take anything away from Christy and her notes, I'm sure, but that may not have been covered in her notes. Carrie did not mention the rodeo, she mentioned a large event. So having that on the recording very much helped me on my end, where this is a very emotional situation, we'll just say. And so there are benefits to being able to have verbatim what is being said.
Are most other commission meetings streamed live
It's very common. Before live streaming, it was public access TV. And so the idea of part of the media center was that public access TV would actually be the way we would pump these out. But it is very commonplace for city government and county government meetings to be live on either a public access channel or live streaming these days. I see Finney County, I follow Finney counties, and they pop up every time I see them. Very common.
Have you spoke to the courtroom about doing the same thing, Grant?
To the courtroom,
Yeah,
like live streaming court.
proceedings. I think there should be.
It's an interesting thought. I have not been approached by them as far as like I was approached to come do these during the circumstances. It would be something that we could foresee doing as the court would want. It's very possible, especially if we're going to be looking at equipment for this building to be live streaming if we're going forward. I think that's feasible. I don't know all the rules and regulations around broadcasting court and what can and can't go out. I know, open meetings are one thing. You guys go into executive session, I can shut down. And
That's another thing. What are you gonna do when we go into executive session?
the camera can be turned off.
Are you gonna be here every minute of all of our meetings?
No, I would not, and that's why I think there would be some training between Christy and I or somebody locally, because there's just no way I can promise you. We're so strong for staff anyway. At the media center, I don't have any help to send down here, so I would rely on Christy to take some of that responsibility and be able to control that.
Christy, you willing to take that on?
I am, because I think this is a very valid source in the day and age that we live in. So I would be willing to take it upon. If I have any problems, I can get a hold of Grant or our IT tech right there. But I'm okay with recording the meetings and shutting them down on breaks and executive sessions and stuff whenever we're supposed to not be. I don't have a problem with doing that. Because I think it's a very, very valuable tool, because like Carrie, I refer back to it. But it's totally up to you. This is your guys' meeting and how you want to do it. So moving forward, if we open back up, that's your choice if you don't want to record them.
Well, I think truthfully, if I were to say I want to come record this and put a camera in here, I don't think you could say I could not, because I think there's rules and regulations around an open meeting and camera and journalism and all that stuff being allowed in. So I don't think you could vote not to have a camera necessarily if I was the one pushing to say I want to come over and stream. Just kind of making sure you're aware of that. I think there's rules around the legalization of not allowing it.
So the same thing applies to the court.
Again, I don't know about court. I don't know anything about court when it comes to that.
I think you'll find they won't let you record it.
Yeah, I think it's a whole different scenario than what we're talking about as far as an open meeting.
Well, they record their stuff up there anyway, don't they?
Right, but
Recorded.
it's not public.
Audio.
Not from
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, so they got recordings that may not be open to the public.
Without speaking to the judge or Che, that would be something they could tell you if it can or can't. There's like you said, there's probably some that you can, some you can't. I can tell you juvenile cases, you guys can't, they can't
No.
record the juvenile cases.
You
There's-
can't be in there. That's just like an executive meeting. You can't be.
Exactly, so there's some things that they possibly could or couldn't, but that would be a question for the judge.
Well, just to throw this out here as well, Ron, you mentioned, again, people who comment on the videos, you'd rather have them come in person if they have any feedback to offer. Could we disable comments on videos and just post a notice that asks, if you do have any feedback to give to commissioners or county officials to actually come in person, give a call, rather than doing it online?
Yeah, I think you can disable comments. I think the issue with that is you're showing that you don't want any feedback from people who can't be here
Yeah.
in person. But I on the technology standpoint, yes, you can disable that. I just think you're sending a signal that says we don't want to hear from you if you do that.
How about, do you have to send that over YouTube or Facebook?
I use those as streaming platforms.
But haven't you got a system like the ball games when you record
That's
them?
how we do it. We do it through Facebook and YouTube.
Oh, they do.
Yeah, there's other providers out there that are a little bit, more, I guess, limited down to public viewing ability, but those are the easiest platforms to get content on that people can access, and that's ultimately what we're trying to do, is get it to where people can access it. So, I mean, we're multi-streaming to both platforms right now just because we can. We could stream only to YouTube and then embed that, say, on the county website, so you have to jump through a few hoops to get to it, basically, is all you're doing, is to try to create hoops for people to jump through, whereas Facebook right now is going to, anybody who follows the media center is gonna get a notification that we went live this morning at 9 o'clock, and they can easily find it and jump on there and be a part of the conversation, or at least listen to the conversation.
We're sure we're moving back upstairs next meeting, correct?
Well, we haven't made a
We hadn't
motion.
made a motion yet. I'll make a motion, we move back upstairs for our next meeting, third Monday. And then, as of now, let's go ahead and keep streaming the video and the meetings. We'll decide further down the road what we wanna do with the streaming. How many did you say had been looking at?
Well,
It's,
last meeting wasn't an overly popular meeting like we
Right.
had with the rodeo. And last I looked at it had, I can look again really quick while I'm right here. It was a substantial amount of views, 878 views on our last meeting.
last meeting.
And, nothing out of the ordinary spectacular drama was happening with that, but people are wanting to know what's going on. So, people aren't probably watching start to finish, but they might be scanning through and wanting to hear what Carrie's up
Yeah.
to. And we might see a significant drop off when she's not updating. But, there's those moments of what people want to find, and they'll go and they'll scrub to it and they'll find it and listen to it, so it's not like they're watching the whole thing, but 878 views on a regular meeting shows that people have interest.
That's right. And I didn't get any negative feedback on the rodeo deal or nothing. I haven't, everybody that I've talked to is really, they thank us for having it on there. Yeah,
And with, about 2,500 residents in Kiowa County to
Yeah.
be able to reach.
a
we'll
third
say-
of them,
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good platform to be able to
compared
get
to
out
maybe
information.
2 a month coming in person, and all the meetings. Yep. That's the motion. You got my motion, Kristen?
I do,
Can I speak?
Yes.
I was kind of forced into this too, and I didn't want to do this because I didn't want to put myself out there that publicly, because you do open yourself up to somebody 500 miles away who wants to make an issue out of something you said. I get that. I'm still not comfortable with that part of it. But let me say, and maybe this is 10 years of attending your meetings, but by being here and seeing how you grapple with decisions and choices, it has given me a greater appreciation for what our county government has to do in terms of the knowledge that you have to have. And I often pray publicly here that when you don't have that knowledge, you've got to rely on other people to come alongside you and supply that. It's given me a great appreciation for the position that you guys are in, enough to know that I would never want to run for the job. But I think that's another benefit. Even though Ron, I'm with you. This Sunday I'd like to be done with Facebook, just from that standpoint alone. But it does help people appreciate what you're up against sometimes in the decisions that you have to make.
Well, I feel exactly like you do, Ron. I don't like it, but I see the value and I think it's inevitable. So, it is a valuable tool in this day and age for people to, nobody likes to be on camera. I know.
I don't.
Well, my thought is, I do not think the commission operates as good with the camera on as it does without. Maybe that shouldn't be, but I think that's the way it is.
You're more reserved, I suppose.
Hmm?
You're more reserved.
Yeah. People do not say what they're thinking.
May be good.
In
In my case, that may be a good thing. Well, I don't guess we have to address it right now. If we're going back up to the courthouse, like he said, let's go ahead and let them film for now. And if we decide to address this at another time, I
What
guess
you
we
said,
can.
your motion is that he go ahead and record it
But film us up
for
there.
how long?
While we're upstairs.
Yeah, until we make a decision. I mean, if we want to change it 2 weeks, we can change it in 2 weeks. Let's do it to see how it works. I mean, maybe we may want to do it until we get out of this social distancing. That's the end of the year probably. Could be.
Could be. Everything changes so quickly.
But I mean, you know, like when we had the rodeo club up there, we had to ask some of them guys to go outside. I mean, only
Right.
2 of those could stay in up there, so.
Yeah, that was
I mean,
that's a big room.
That's right.
Right. But that was
Well,
whenever
the-
we had the group of 10. The
Right.
amount
That's
of
true.
people, that's going up. So we're not at 10 no more, we're at 15.
15, you could get 15 up there probably.
And we'll be at 30 next week, hopefully, if we
so-
don't see any outbreaks, so.
Uh-huh. But you still gotta have that 6 feet.
Yes,
So you can't use a room this small on account of that.
Right, right.
no.
Well, let's see how it works with Christie running that deal. I mean, we hadn't asked, that's another job she's taking on here to do it, if she's.
I'm willing to do
If
it
she-
because it helps me.
Okay.
It helps me be able to go back and refer to my minutes. And
Okay.
if somebody questions something I said, I can refer back to it and
Yeah,
say, yep, you're right, or
tape
no,
don't
this is
usually,
what I said.
don't usually lie.
I know.
You can only
it
stretch
doesn't.
it so far.
That's right, so.
Well, why I was working on equipment that was less setup and tear down and all that was for the reason of if we want to prolong this. I mean, you see what it is right here, and I'm running off of a phone, so it's not so technical she can't handle it.
Yeah.
It's very user friendly, so.
Okay?
So,
Well, back to Bert's motion, I guess I would second his motion to move back upstairs and continue things as they are for now.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. We move back upstairs to the courtroom, our next meeting, and we continue to allow live streaming of this. Any other discussion on this? If not, those in favor of this motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign.
Now opening the courthouse.
yes.
If we're ready to open
All
it
the
Tuesday,
sneeze guards and all that's all finished.
Should be ready immediately. So, yeah, if you guys want to open tomorrow, I think we've got all the engineering controls recommended, ready to go.
Well, that's,
I would make a motion that we open the courthouse as of tomorrow using this east door. with
Okay.
The rest of them locked.
Okay. That was Trey's thing. Good.
I'll second that motion.
It's been moved and seconded. We open up the courthouse tomorrow with limited access of the east door. Any other discussion on this? If not, those in favor of this motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, same sign.
Okay.
Good.
So is the rest of the county opened up? I mean, is the dump going now 5 days a week and all the
That's
rest
something
are?
you need to ask Jay. I don't know if he's changed the operational hours because it was just Tuesday. And
Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday, I think,
thank you.
right now.
So I didn't
Well, I
want to
think
say the
we
wrong
need to-
day, but I know it's
I
like 2
think
days
we need
a
to
week.
open that back up to where it's running like it was supposed to. I mean, like it used to. There's no sense having the dump open 3 days a week.
Yeah. He was talking about it one time, maybe leaving it closed on Mondays.
Well, that's okay. I guess he needs to come and address us about that.
Right.
But if we want to change it back to that, but right now they're open 3 days a week.
Yeah, Tuesday,
And
Wednesday, and Fridays,
it
and
needs
Saturdays.
to be back to semi-normal operating
Yeah.
conditions, I think.
Jay must be watching the video because he just texted me and said he forgot to mention the landfill will be going back to regular days and hours of operation.
Perfect.
Right.
Perfect.
So he must
Okay.
be watching the video.
All right.
Oh,
Okay,
There you
guess
go, there's another benefit of
That's
your
right.
decision. The other building that we need to address would be the Commons building, because we had requested that they are gonna be having a board meeting tonight to discuss the opening of the library, and then now museums are able to open as well, so if, with your permission, we would like to be able to open the Commons building as well.
I think, yeah, we should,
I would so move.
that motion should have included everything. Yeah.
Well, you'll have to do another motion because we've already finished the last motion about opening the court or moving the commissioners upstairs. So we can do the motion with open us up with the limited access of the east door to include the commons building, opening back up to full use of the public. But I also need something about opening up the fairgrounds.
Yeah, they'll open up the 1st of July.
Is July 1st going to be okay with you?
Yeah.
Because I have a list of people I need to call. Okay,
Right.
so to include that the
Yeah.
operate or the rentals of the facilities at the fairgrounds will resume effective July 1.
July 1, right. Yeah,
Did we
'cause
already
it-
vote on the courthouse, or we're still in discussion on that?
That's part of the big old motion that I was
Okay,
just saying.
okay.
So,
But we haven't done anything on
no, you haven't.
Commons.
But,
Yeah. I
but
move we open it tomorrow, just like the courthouse.
okay, is it okay that I include that the operations of the courthouse will open with the east side door
Yeah.
only? Also, the Commons building will open up to public access as well. The fairgrounds buildings will open up effective July
July
1 for
1.
rentals.
Right.
Can I include that all in the same motion, or do you want 3 separates?
I think the
Switch
same
me.
motion,
Okay.
take it all.
All right, so
Also include the landfill operations normal hours.
not a
We already
problem.
have,
Normal
so
hours
it's
for the
fine.
county period, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Back
and then
to
I
normal.
just need a second. That was your motion, so I'll just
Second.
need a second. Thank you.
Now you're voting on the,
Opening the county
Would
and the
you-
courthouse.
No, that was everything. That was the courthouse, the commons, the fairgrounds, and the landfill.
Yeah.
That motion included everything, Ron, if that's
Oh.
okay.
well, you better mark out that other and we okay then.
Well, the first one was just to move upstairs. That one's already done with the video line streaming. I'm just including, you didn't finish the motion through for the courthouse that's
Courthouse.
opening up. I'm just add,
I said was limited access to
Yeah.
the
Right, but
east
it's-
door.
door.
yes,
And
uh-huh,
we voted on that.
okay.
Okay.
No, I can amend it, if, I will go refer back to the minutes and look at it, and if it was finished then, but I don't think you guys finished it,
We
but
can-
we can. It's fine, so if you wanna originally put your motion that the courthouse will open up with the access of the
East door.
east door only,
And it,
then I need a second on that,
yeah,
and then, or a motion carried through that, and then we can have another motion to include the other facilities that I have mentioned.
right.
I will second Bert's original motion.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. We, open up the courthouse, limit access to the east door. We don't need this moving back upstairs in that motion.
No, you already did
Right.
that one, that
Already
one,
got it, yeah.
the opening of the commons building.
And the opening of the Commons building,
Link.
same time, and reopen the fairgrounds buildings the 1st of July.
Uh-huh, and then the operation hours of the landfill.
Thought they'd already changed that, but
I didn't know if you need to put it in a motion, cause I didn't know if you guys put it in a motion.
I don't know.
I have Jay calling right now, can I answer
Yeah.
it, Schmidt?
Yeah.
Hi Jay, it's Christy, I have you on speakerphone for the commissioners.
Yeah, I forgot to mention this morning, the landfill's going back to regular days and hours, Monday through Saturday, 8 to 4.
perfect.
Okay, and that is effective with, like the courthouse is opening up tomorrow, is that gonna be effective the same day, or is that effective today?
I went ahead and had him just open it up today.
Okay, so, alright,
Okay?
Good deal.
okay,
Thanks.
thank you.
They're gonna be there 6 days a week.
Okay,
I suppose we might as well put that in the motion. I don't know that it needs to be.
cause he made it effective today,
Yeah.
so.
It's already effective. I don't know if we need to put it in or not. We got the rest of this.
That's okay, we can just leave that off the actual motion,
We need
So
to
the-
vote on the,
but everything else you need to vote on.
Do we need another second, or did I already seconded the motion?
You
that
seconded it, I
made?
just need,
Second.
him to finish out the motion.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. I already done that part.
Mm-hmm.
Those in favor of this motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign.
Okay, sorry, that was kind of a mess right there.
I got a question for you, Carrie. What's the advantage of having social distancing over a mask?
Well, for one, not everybody wears a mask, and definitely not everybody wears a mask properly. I've seen most people just wear them over their mouth and not covering their nose. And so it's been proven that when people cough and sneeze, you can actually spew stuff up to 6 feet away. So that's why the 6 foot distancing rule is there. And they actually have videos that show when you don't cover your hands and you either cough or sneeze, and they have like these close-up cameras that show stuff coming out of your mouth and nose. It's really disgusting, but you're welcome to Google it and see that it can fly 6 feet away from you, so that's why they recommend 6 feet.
But so you're telling me it's easier to make people have 6 foot distancing than required to wear a mask?
I'm not saying any of it has been easy, Ron.
Well, no, but I mean, apparently you think it is, because you're not wanting us to wear a mask, but you want us to be 6 foot apart.
I would like both. I would like everyone to wear a mask if they can't, but stay 6 feet apart, yes.
I guess, guys, my height need to go 7 feet because of the arc, you know.
That's true. I don't know if there was a separate study that took that into account, John.
That'd be discrimination, wouldn't it?
Or maybe those of us that are over 5'9", you
Yeah.
know, we can stand a little
Yeah,
closer.
you can go 5.5.
Lung capacity probably has.
That's right.
I know, there's a whole lot of curves there.
COPD, asthma.
Well, was there anything else?
Not that I know of. I'm about wore this dead horse out as far as I'm concerned.
We're fishing in deep water now.
All right, next meeting's June 15th.
And we'll have it ready for you guys, and I'll go ahead and get with Court as far ahead as we can look and just make sure we're not gonna have any schedule conflicts, and if and when we do, we'll just work it out and decide. We may have to have a meeting down here once or twice, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it.
Okay, if anybody hasn't got anything else, I'm gonna adjourn this meeting at 9:50.
On the money.
Sounds good.
See you, Jeff.
We're meeting up there, and when we're meeting up there, it's our meeting room.
I
want a
really
cup of
appreciate
coffee
the way
up there.
when things are
Is that
kind of
really the
ouchy or
reason why you wanna
uncomfortable.
do that?
You
I
do
know
a
it
good
is.
job of
During this
staying
meeting,
calm,
Video.
not,
You what?
maybe not saying what you really want.